Well, that's not supposed to happen. What's up everybody, my name is Timo and this is my dream desk setup. Now, before this I had a very simplistic black and white kind of setup, but then last year I moved and now I'm working on turning what before was a pantry into sort of like an office. There's still a lot to be done, as you can see. This has yet to go onto the wall and overall it doesn't really feel like an office yet, but a little bit more like a construction site if I'm honest, but that's all stuff for a future video. Today though I want to focus on the desk setup that is right behind me, which has been my dream for literal years. For a long time I wanted my desk setup to look something like this, and now I finally have it, so let me show you around. And by the way, I will have all the products linked in the description down below, so you can check them out if you want to, at least those that are still on sale. And if they aren't, then I'll try to find an alternative. So as for the desk, which of course is the heart of it all, I have the EQ5 from FlexiSpot. You can extend the width of the desk itself from 110 all the way to 170 centimeters, which is a little bit over 5.5 feet, depending on what tabletop you use. Be warned though that the desk itself is only rated for a maximum weight of about 100 kilograms or 220 pounds. Which in itself sounds like a lot, but when you factor in that a monitor, a PC, accessories, maybe some decoration and plants all go onto the desk, and then you have the weight of the tabletop itself, that limit can be reached fairly quickly. And although I don't think I nearly have that much weight on the desk, you can still hear it struggle every once in a while when it's rising up. It seems to slow down and then it starts to speed up again, so yeah, just a little heads up for you there. If you're interested in buying a motorized standing desk as well, just watch out that your desk is able to carry as much weight as you want to, so you don't run into that problem. Building it was super easy thanks to the manual, and the height is controlled by this little controller to my right, which you can't see, but maybe if I bring up the desk a little bit, can you see it? Nah, I don't think you can. I'll have some footage on the screen right now. It has two dedicated buttons for standing and sitting, and then two more which you can customize however you want to. I've got the third button mapped to the minimum height of the desk, basically just to use it as a film set for overhead shots. And the fourth button is set to the maximum height of the desk, which I find quite useful for when I'm working on my iPad Pro for college. By the way, if you haven't seen it already, here's my review of the iPad Pro. But yeah, this is how I use the programmable buttons on the controller. The computer I'm using is a little bit older. It's rocking an RTX 2060 Super, a Ryzen 5 3600, 16 gigs of RAM, a 1TB SSD, and I think a 550 watt power supply, but I'm not sure. And I'll admit, if you look at my desk setup as a whole, the NZXT H210 looks like the odd one out. I know that, and I actually have some spray paint here. Let me just get it. Right, so here it is, and I'm thinking I could simply take it apart and spray paint the white elements black, because that would fit a whole lot better with the overall industrial theme that I've got going on in this entire apartment, but also in my office as well. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that video, because I don't know if that's gonna work out. Maybe the paint is gonna be uneven, maybe I'll break something, which would be really frustrating, but best case scenario, it all works out. But yeah, gaming on maxed out settings or video editing are basically the only two things that I can throw at this PC where it starts to sweat quite a bit, but I'm very happy with it overall. My monitor of choice is a 29-inch LG ultrawide, which I'm not gonna even bother to try remembering its name because it's crap, but it's running at a 2560 by 1080 resolution at 75 Hz. I know it's not the best of the best in any category, but I don't need a whole lot more pixels. I think my graphics card wouldn't even be able to keep up with 1440p gaming for too long, so 1080p is fine. It's really immersive while gaming despite not having a curve. And video editing is also great because of the wider aspect ratio. So yeah, I know it's not the best, but it works perfectly fine for me. And also, when I bought it, I was on a budget, and I think I made a really good decision nonetheless. Now, my keyboard still is the Sharkoon Typewriter 10 kilos, which is a low profile mechanical keyboard that didn't cost a whole lot of money when I bought it. And even though it's a little bit older, I still really like it. Low profile keyboards are still my absolute favorite, and the only thing that bugs me a little bit about it is that it's got a wire. And I thought about drilling a hole into my desk, but when I eventually go wireless, then I'd have a pointless hole in my desk, which I wouldn't want, so unfortunately, this is what I'm stuck with. I know it's tragic. My mouse of choice is the Corsair Harpoon RGB Wireless, and I've had this mouse before, but it had this weird malfunction where it would register a double click when I would only press it once. That was super annoying, so I sent that back. It was covered still under warranty, so I sent it back, got a new one, and that too had that same problem, and I was like, okay, no big deal, send it back, got a new one. That too had that problem, so I had now 3 mice which all had the same problem, and I was like, yo guys, are you serious? Can you just give me a working mouse? Is that too much to ask for? And so I finally got a 4th mouse, which ultimately got rid of that issue. It's been really reliable, and it hasn't had this issue since, but simply because of that single incident. Well, the incident wasn't really single, was it? I couldn't recommend this mouse to anybody. Now, I may just have had bad luck, that's also a possibility, but I can wholeheartedly recommend this mouse because I wouldn't want anybody to go through that same experience of having a mouse for a year and a half which doesn't work properly. I mean, you can always order it, and when it's not working you can send it back, but I don't know, you have to decide yourself if you want to go through that hassle or not. But that's been my experience with this mouse. What I can recommend though is this plain IKEA desk pad. It was like $5 and it has tiny anti-slip rubber points on the bottom, and despite the look, it doesn't cause any problems with my mouse at all. And also I think it looks kind of cool, which is a plus, and it protects my desk from mouse or keyboard scratches on the tabletop itself. One significant change from my last desk setup are my headphones of choice, because before I used the MH30Xs from Audio-Technica, which were studio headphones, but I don't use them anymore because the leather ear cushions have hardened so much that wearing them for just a relatively short period of time is really uncomfortable. And because last year I bought my Sony WH-1000XM4s, I just replaced my old Audio-Technicas with them and use my Sonys whenever I do anything that involves audio on my PC. They have ANC, which I can always turn on, drown out my PC, and be fully immersed in whatever I'm doing, be it video editing or gaming. I don't normally keep my headphones in my office though, because for the most part I only do college work, writing, but whenever I'm gaming or video editing, I just get my headphones out of my backpack, plug in the 3.5mm cable into my PC and into my headphones, which is a bit of a faff because the headphone cable connects to my left ear cup and the PC is to my right, but I don't really care. And then I just turn on ANC and be immersed in whatever I'm doing. My microphone is just a simple USB mic from a brand called Fifine. It's nothing special. It has a volume knob with the volume set to about 1/3. So when I twist it, you can probably hear me becoming uncomfortably loud. So I'm going to turn it back down. I wish it just had a button for muting so that you didn't have to reset the volume every time you unmuted yourself. But at a price of about $30, I'm not going to complain too much. And as you can hear, the sound quality is also reasonably good for a microphone of that price, especially compared to like similarly priced headsets. But just for context, my PC is running right next to me, and this is what the microphone picks up from that PC. And just to show you how much of the keyboard noise is picked up, I'm going to start typing. My desk lamp is basically just simple wood with black accents. It's nothing really interesting. There's a Yeelight bulb inside there, which can do full RGB. I didn't really feel like spending the money on Philips Hue, and most of the time it's set to a warm white anyway, so what's the point of spending like 3 times the money to get a Philips light when this light can also do it as well. I also have a small USB hub over there, which its only purpose is essentially just connecting my SD card from my camera to my PC because there's no other way to do it. And that's basically what there is to say about it, except that it has rubber feet, so it doesn't slide around on my desk. And then I also have a little bit of decoration. This little green thing right here is a stapler. It doesn't serve any purpose because I'm never gonna staple anything. And then right next to it you can see this little metal Wally, which I bought in Vietnam on my vacation last year. I think it's super adorable and a great decoration piece. And also I have these two old cameras. This metal one is actually from the 1960s and belonged to my grandma. And the other one is just an old Polaroid camera from the 90s. I don't even know if any of these still work, but I have them and they look awesome. And finally, my chair. It's just an off-brand sort of gaming chair that I bought off Amazon. It's neither the most comfortable nor the most ergonomic. I don't really need a Herman Miller chair, which costs as much as a car. When I sit, which is not a whole lot of time, I just use this chair, it's fine. And yeah, the rest of the time I spend standing anyway, so I really couldn't care less. So yeah, there you have it. This is my sort of budget-friendly, actually, desk setup for gaming, video editing and college going into 2023. And in the near future I'm gonna start turning this office into my dream working space. But that's been it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I will have all the products linked in the description down below so you can check them out, as well as some alternatives. With that said, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and maybe I'll see you soon. Peace.